another session on Git's usage like a DevOps engineer. As I told you in the previous session, if you want to become a DevOps engineer, 90% of your day-to-day activities will be on the top of Git. So it's very essential if you want to become a DevOps engineer, learning, using, understanding, operating it is quite essential. And without that, our job is going to be quite tough. And in that aspect, as a cloud and DevOps guy, what is your day-to-day activity? And anything that you want to do on Git or anything that you want to change on Git goes by something called as a pull request, and it is also referred as PR. And how to use that PR is something I'm going to talk extensively in today's session. That also includes how you're going to do some changes, how your lead or how your superiors in the team are going to approve the changes, and how are you going to accept the changes into the Git is something I'm going to talk. Okay, without wasting any time further, let's try to proceed. Okay, so in the previous session, I have demonstrated whenever you want to make any sort of changes, it's very straightforward. I clearly shown, for example, I went into the README file. I say sample change. And I run the commands called as git add, git commit, git push. Git commit -m, sample change. And I did something called as git push. Done, game over. But this is not how you are going to publish your changes in production. And this is how it's not going to work, because whatever the changes that you are going to make is something that you're going to do on the top of a branch. What is a branch? We discussed about it. Branch is nothing but a copy of your repository. So it's not at all recommended, and it's not even possible in any of the organization or any of the project due to something called as a branch production policies. If in interview, if they ask you what is a branch production policy is nothing but set of policies that you apply on the top of a branch of in your Git to restrict something. For example, my organization has a branch protection policy saying that none of them should have the capability, should push the changes directly to the main branch. Why? Because the changes that are there on the top of a main branch are source of truth, and at the same time, I do not want to allow any of the changes to the branch without approval. That means someone has to review the changes. Why? We already discussed this point in any of the version control system. We'll try to consider one of the branch as main branch, and few people will also refer it as a master branch, which is a source of truth. Anytime anything that we want to make on the top of this main branch, okay, should always go through the pull request. What do you mean by pull request? Okay, so for example, here there is a guy whose name is Steve who is sitting here and he want to push some changes. So what he did, he hit a command called as git push that directly push the changes to the main branch. That is in training or in any of the situations that you'd see, but in serious business it's not gonna work. When you try to make a git push to any of the branches, it will simply fail, saying that you are being restricted as per the branch protection policies. Okay, that means whenever you want to make any changes into the main branch, you need to raise a pull request. What do you mean by pull request? Okay, so if you are using GitHub, this is referred as pull request. And if you're using Bitbucket or any other tool, and this is also referred as a merge request. Both of them are same. So what the main idea behind this is, whenever you want to make any changes into the main branch, you need to raise a pull request from where you are trying to make the changes and asking someone to review, hey, these are the changes that I'm trying to make. Can you please review? Okay. And if the code looks good, or if the changes looks, your lead or teammate is going to approve. And if the changes doesn't look good, they'll comment back saying that these changes doesn't look good. Feel free to approve it one more time. Okay, likewise it is going to work. Let me try to show you that. And in this demo, I'm gonna show you what all the list of commands that we are going to make. I repeat, 99% of the times, or I would say 100% of the times, whatever the changes that you make, everything goes by pull request only. Okay, so it's essential you should know how it works. All right, so that's the reason I clearly mentioned why pull request in GitHub. Okay, so let's go. So as I mentioned, whatever the change that you make, even a simple change, okay, even a simple addition of change or simple removal of a line, everything goes by pull request. Pull request is also referred as PR. Okay, so people also refer it as a PR or pull request or merge request, anything is same. But if you are using GitHub, they refer it as a PR or pull request. Okay, so this is something we're going to show you in a detailed note today. And along with that, the agenda for today is going to be quite simple. What is a branch in Git? A branch is nothing but a copy of a version for parallel development. So a branch is nothing but a copy of your code. So for example, in Linux, if you want to change any file or if you want to update any file, you take a backup of the file and then you do it on the top of the main file, right? Similarly, branch is also the same thing. Since you cannot do changes directly on the top of the main branch, we take a copy of it, and that copy is called as feature branch, or the copy is called as a branch in Git, and then we are going to do the changes on the top of it, and then we'll ask someone to review it. And I'll also discuss about what is a pull request and why you need it, and how can we raise it. Okay, and these are the list of commands. As a part of the demo, I would like to use it. Okay, let me try to show you that. Okay, first I have directly pushed the changes, right? And that is not how it's going to work. You can come here and try to look at the file that I have pushed the changes. So in the Jenkins file, you can see that I have added the sample changes and they are directly on the top of the main branch, which is not true and which is not how it works. How it works. So for that, you need to understand some Git commands. Okay, right now I'm on the top of shipping repository ls-ltr. You can see the list of files. Now I would like to use some commands. Okay, in the previous session we learned what is git add, what is git commit, and what is git push. Now today we learn few more commands. Okay, first, how do I come to know on which branch I am in? If you are using git bash, you can straight away come to know. It's gonna show you that. So for example, if you look at this, you entered into the git bash, it shows that you are in the main. But what is the command that tells you which branch I am in? Okay, so in the Visual Studio Code or in the Git Bash, if you're using MacBook in your terminal, enter into the directory. In my case, shipping is a directory. I'll say Git branch. It says star indicates that you are in this main branch. Okay, fine. Now, I do not want to push changes directly to the main branch because I do not have access. Now, what I want to do is I would like to make a commit. Okay, how can you make a commit? Okay, how can you make a commit? Let me try to show you that. Okay. All right. So first, what I would like to do is I would like to enter and I would like to create a branch. And if you want to create a branch, Git branch is something that's going to tell you which branch you are in. Okay. Now, if you want to create a branch, okay, from main as a source, you can use Git branch name. For example, I would like to create Git branch name that you would like to create. That is going to create a branch whose name is branch name by taking source as this. That means this is what is going to happen. CP, which is nothing but copy from main branch. It's going to create a branch and it's going to create a copy of it based on the name that you have given. Okay, so it is fundamental like you're doing a copy of it, but you cannot call it as a copy. Instead, you're going to call it as a branch name. So you're creating a branch whose name is 001 by taking reference as main. Now see this. Now hit git branch command. Now a branch feature 001 is created from the main branch. If you want to see an example, I have clearly shown here, and this is the main branch. And this is the main branch. And from the main branch, I have taken a branch. Okay, I have taken a copy of it. Okay, this process is also called as a checking out. All right. Now what I'm gonna do is I'll go back and then I would like to show you that. So here, what I would like to do is git branch. Now it shows you in this current repository, there are two branches. One of the branch is feature 001 and another branch is main. But whatever the changes that you're going to make will still happen on the top of the main because it's still pointing to the main branch. Your Git is still reading on the main branch. And if you want to switch to a different branch, you can use a command called as git checkout. Git checkout and which branch you want to move. So you need to mention which branch you need to move. I would like to move to feature 001. So all I need to do is feature hyphen 001. I moved to feature 001. The command is checkout. Now you move to the 001. You can see a message called as switch to the branch feature 001. Also, whenever you get any warning message or information message, please try to read it carefully. Reading the information messages or error messages gives us better knowledge, and it also enhances and optimizes our problem solving skills and troubleshooting capabilities. All right. Now, if you try to look at branch, it shows you that you are in the feature 001 branch. That means if you want to switch from one branch to another branch, okay, first we are doing git branch name to create the branch, and then we are using the command called as git checkout and branch name. Okay, and this way we are creating the branch in step 1, and in the step 2 we are checking out the branch. That means we are switching to the branch, but you can also do both of the activities in a single go. How can you do that? Okay, git checkout main, I'm switching back to the main, and you can see that you are in the main branch. Okay, now what I would like to do is I can do something called as git checkout, and if you use a flag called as -b, it's going to create a branch from the branch you are in right now. Right now I'm in the branch main. Now it is going to create a branch whose name is feature 001 by taking the source as main. And immediately with a single command, you can create a branch, and at the same time, you can switch to that branch as well. Can you see this? You need to say feature 002 because feature 001 is already there. Can you see this? Switch to a new branch. That means those two steps, git branch name followed by git checkout branch name, rather than you can simply use a command called as git checkout -b. Both those activities can be done in a single way. Now you can also see git branch. It's going to show you that you are in the feature 002. Now what I would like to do is I want to do some changes. And what are the changes that I would like to do? I don't want to have this change. Okay, now I would like to remove this. Okay, done. Now I'll say git add Jenkins file, git commit -m. I'll say removed the debug commands. Done. Done. That is change number 1. And the change number 2 that I would like to do is I would like to do it in the application properties. And I would like to add a property called as I would like to add a property something true is going to make the option yes. And I'm also saying something if you don't want. Done. Now I would like to update this as well. Git add src. Done. Okay, rather than saying git add dot, just try to be more explicit how many number of times you are changing. Try to add a detailed commit so that the reviewer will have a better understanding. Okay, and then I would like to say git commit -m add true and yes description. All right. Now I added 2 comments. Now if you try to do a git push, it will not work. Git push by default pushes the changes to the main branch. But what I want, I would like to push it to where? Okay, I would like to push. Okay, from here, what I would like to do is I would like to push my changes here. Okay, and if you want to push your changes here, you as an engineer has to explicitly mention which branch you want to push. I would like to say git push. Okay, you need to say origin. Origin indicates that means you're talking or you're referring to the remote repository. Okay, git push origin. Now you can ask me for main we didn't mention. You don't have to mention, that is the default option. Okay, so branch name. Now the changes from your computer from which branch you are in are going to move to this feature 001 branch. Okay, so for example here feature XYZ, right? I'll say feature hyphen XYZ. Now git push is a command which is going to push the changes. Origin represents that it is a remote repository. Feature XYZ is something you're telling the branch where it has to push. Now I'll go here and I would like to say git push origin and the branch name is feature hyphen 002. Now you can come here and if you look at this, there is no branch called as feature 002. The moment you push this, it is going to create a branch feature hyphen 002. Let me try to show you that. Okay, I hit the command git push origin feature 00. Okay, now it's also telling how to raise a pull request. Okay, I don't go there for now. First, let's go ahead and try to review the changes. Now come here and you can see this. Okay, it is directly asking you to raise a pull request. Now you can also see that there is a branch feature 002 is there. And you can also create a pull request. Okay, so this is a brand new feature. I mean, from last 6 months to 8 months, whenever you make any changes to any of the feature branch, by default, it says you, hey, there are some changes. Would you like to raise a pull? As I mentioned in the beginning of the session itself, any small change that you make has to go through the review. Someone has to review your changes, and if they are good, they'll accept, and if they are not correct or need some correction, they are going to approve. Deny it. So compare it with a pull request. Okay, so maybe I would like to say updated app properties and trimmed the debug comments in Jenkins file. So you need to add the title as descriptive as possible. Okay, and you can also say nothing has been changed to functionality. Done. Now once it is raised, okay, you can clearly see what are all the changes that it is making. Okay, now the pull requests that I am raising is from feature 001, okay, feature 002, feature 002 to main branch, right? Now it's gonna say all these 5 commits, what are the changes that you have make, 1 change, 2 change, 3 change, 4 change, 5 change, all of them are going to go into this branch. Okay, which is nothing but the main branch, and that is what it is telling. So first commit is removing the debug comments, and second commit is added true and s. Okay, you can see here, and we removed the debug command. That's what it is saying, removing the sample change. And you can also see that I have added a couple of lines. Plus indicates addition, minus indicates removal. Done. Now I need to ask someone from the team to approve it. Okay, so there is a member in our team whose name is Trainer. So I'm gonna ask him to approve it. Okay, Trainer Maru Verma. He is a user in my organization. So we'll ask him to approve it. All right. Now I create a pull request. The moment I create a pull request, the other user will be notified saying that, hey, you have a pull request. Okay. So in your case, it will be either your team lead or your colleague. Okay. Based on the organization rule. Okay. Now what that guy has to do, he'll get a notification. He'll go and enter into it. And then he has to either approve it or deny it. All right. So let me show you that. Let me show you that. So here, so there is a repository. We're talking about shipping. Now here you have a pull request tab in the top left corner. There is an option called as pull request. All you need to do is select this. So here I am acting like a reviewer. All right. So the reviewer has to come and then he has to open the pull request, and the pull request is from feature 002 to main branch, and the person who is reviewing and has to go through the changes that are filed. And okay, he has not disturbed anything, he just removed one comment. So okay, this looks good to me. And here also he has added some just debug comments, and both of them looks good to me. I need to say viewed, and if I don't want to approve, I'll just say request changes, what are the changes that I want. And if the changes looks good to me, I'll approve it. Okay, so changes looks good to me, approved. Approved, submit the review. That means I have submitted my review. Perfect. Now here you can see, so you as an engineer who has raised this pull request, the moment the engineer who or the reviewer has approved it, you can see the option status as tick mark. The moment you see this option, that means the pull request is approved. If it is approved, what you can do is you can straight away come here and you can merge it. Okay, merging is nothing but you requested a pull request asking these are the changes that I would like to send to the main branch, and you requested. And once the request is approved, and the guy who has raised a pull request, here Steve, he can merge the request. Okay, so come here and you can merge the request. So your changes will go to the main. So you can confirm the merge. Done. Okay, now you can come here and these changes were merged to the main branch. Okay, let me try to show you that. So right now I'm in the feature 002. I'm switching to the main branch. Done. And it clearly says, hey boss, your branch is behind 3 commits. Yes, I know, because I need to make a git pull. Okay, now here observe carefully. Now I'm in the main branch. Now my main branch has new changes, so I'll do a git pull. Can you see this? Now on this file, I got the changes from the main branch. You can clearly see it here and here as well. All right. This is how every change that you want to make has to go through a pull request. And another important question, if an interview, if in anywhere, if anyone asks you, if you're using GitHub, you did a merge request and then you deleted the branch. Typically, once you make a pull request, you don't maintain the feature branches. It is always a cleanup policy to delete them immediately. Now, another important question. If anyone asks you, I have deleted the branch accidentally on the top of GitHub, post the merge request, can I restore it back? Yes. If you are using enterprise GitHub or open source GitHub, you also have an option to revert to restore the branch. That means the branch which is deleted, you can get it back. Okay, but it is only possible for the next 30 days. So within 30 days, you can restore it branch. All right. So the next question that I'm going to ask you is, how can you restore? Okay. So here are the next things that I would like to talk about in the upcoming session. How can you move back? How can you switch between the commits? How can you switch between the commits? How can you revert the pull request? And what is git revert? Okay, so if you did some mistake and if your organization or if anyone asks you to revert the changes, how do you do that? Okay, is something which is also something you need to know. Whenever you do something, you should also know how can you revert back or how can you go back to the previous state. Okay, you can go to the previous state. That means as an engineer, you did some shell scripting at 10 o'clock, the script is working, and you made some commits at 10:30, the script is not working, and you won't go back to the state where 10 o'clock the scripts were working. How can you deal that is something we're going to talk in upcoming session. And if you like the content, please subscribe please like the channel and subscribe to our content. All right, and that's it. And these are the comments that we have seen. Okay, git add file name, where the file moves from your working directory to the git's stashing directory. Okay, git stash, not stash, staging directory. And then once you are ready, what are the changes that you made? And if you want to save them, or if you want to tell git, mark it as a commit, I'm ready to save it, you need to do a git commit followed by the message. So these changes are going to be saved on the top of the git local repository. And the moment you did a git push, your changes will be pushed to the remote repository. So git branch is a command that tells you which branch you are in. And git branch name is a command that tells you that I am going to create a branch whose name is branch name from the current branch. And you can also do git branch, okay, git checkout -b branch name. Using this also, you can create a branch in a single shot, and you can also switch back to the branch that you have created whose name is branch name. So git push origin branch name is something that you can push the changes from your local repository to the remote repository other than main. Then what is this origin? Origin is nothing but representation of remote repository. Okay, and that's for today. Hope you like the content. And if you like the content, please like the channel and the video. And if you're liking our content that we are posting, please subscribe to the channel. Next session is going to be very important, and we'll tell you how to revert back, how to switch between the commits, how to play with Git like a DevOps engineer. That's something it's going to be very interesting and which we are going to teach in tomorrow's session. And that's for today. Thank you.